Looks at the big stories for the week and how various media outlets reported those stories. When we come back, we'll look at the big stories for the week. Do stay with us. Yeah, welcome back to what the papers are saying. So let me run through the big stories for the week. We'll start with the Ashanti region and indeed the story to do with tricycle operators being banned by authorities over where they can operate. Let's see how that story was reported. We'll start with the Chronicle, and they say Kumasi Pragya demo turns chaotic. Ghanaian Times says 12 tricycle drivers remanded for allegedly injuring police. Citi Newsroom, KMA must reconsider tricycle ban to avert possible spillover. Montaka speaking over there. We go to Citi Newsroom, tricycle ban in Kumasi, KMA vows to continue crackdown. MyJournalline.com says Praja restriction, 12 riders remanded for attacking security officials. And finally, on that story and the latest around that story, and we'll take that from Citi Newsroom, and it says KMA begins releasing impounded tricycles to owners. So those are the stories around the tricycle operators and their clash with the police, among others. Let's move away from that. Let's go to the Niger coup and see its impact on Ghana and see how that story was reported by various media outlets here in Ghana. We'll start with Daybreak. They say ECOWAS sets fresh date for Niger talks. The Informer says Mills Dirufiasem reloaded, stay of military action against Niger, Ghana advised. Citi Newsroom, ECOWAS orders immediate standby force against Niger junta. Back to Citi Newsroom, ECOWAS must be careful in handling Niger coup, security analyst warns. Still with Citi Newsroom, Niger coup, it's too late to talk about diplomacy, Mahama Ayariga. And finally, let's wrap up on that story. Let's go to graphic.com.gh. They say onion prices may go up if Niger tensions continue. Sellers in Accra speaking over there. Now let's move away from that. Let's go to stories to do with the BOG. Last week, the figures around their performance for the 2022 financial year came out. That story is still lingering, so let's see what new angles have come around that story. We start with a Chronicle. It says BOG is solid. This is government speaking. Daily Graphic says 60 billion Ghana Citi loss. We took half of debt haircut, Bank of Ghana. Let's go to Daily Guide. They say ignore NDC BOG propaganda. John Kumar, that's the Deputy Finance Minister, speaking over there. Let's take you to the Finder. Let's see how that story was reported. It says BOG governor deputies must resign within 21 days. That's the minority speaking after they held that press conference. Now, we'll still stay with the minority, and the Daily Guide has an angle to the minority press conference. They say minority chases BOG governor. The minority angle is still around a number of media outlets. The Custodian has one around the minority. They also say minority chases BOG governor. The New Publisher says NDC goes after BOG governor, gives 21-day ultimatum to resign. Still around the minority, Daily Analyst says resign within 21 days. NDC fires BOG governor over 60.8 billion Ghana Citi loss. And then let's see Citi Newsroom how they capture that story. They say IMF justifies BOG 60 billion Ghana Citi loss, says it was DDEP induced. That's the latest to that story, where a statement from the IMF explaining what happened and what it means to Ghana. So that's the angle that Citi Newsroom has taken. Let's still stay with Citi Newsroom because they have other angles. Government dismisses BOG recapitalization levy claim, describes it as, quote, funny propaganda, unquote. Still with City Newsroom, BOG boss using DDEP as cover-up for his mismanagement. This is Mahama speaking. And finally, on that story, it's not true. Government won't impose BOG recapitalization levy. Dr. John Kuma to Atu Forsen. So that's the story around the BOG. Let's move from that and go to the latest to do with the Cecilia Dapaah case. It's been an interesting day on Thursday from the morning all the way to the evening. So let's see how that story has been reported today and other days. Let's start with the Daily Guide. They say OSP freezes Cecilia Dapaah's accounts. We go to the Finder. Fresh discoveries of how Cecilia Dapaah's stolen cash was dissipated in buying properties. Daily Guide says Cecilia stolen $1 million. Suspects bought 6 mansions, 2 cars. Republic Press says 4 more houses uncovered as new twist emerges in Cecilia Dapaah's cash saga. Daily Analyst says Cecilia Dapaah's stolen cash, 3 more dragged to court. Let's end with City Newsroom. They have 3 new angles to that story. The first says OSP denies disclosing alleged details of Cecilia Dapaah's bank accounts. That's the latest. And then also court to decide fate of Cecilia Dapaah's 7 frozen bank accounts on August 17. That's next week, Thursday. And then finally, OSP found $590,000, 2.7 million Ghana cedis during search in Cecilia Dapaah's house. So finally, the figure that was found after the search was made has been disclosed, $590,000 and 2.7 million Ghana cedis. Okay, let's go to our guests for tonight and then we'll start our discussions. I have with me Samuel Atamenta here with us at Citi FM and Citi TV. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And then I also have with me Selam Adonu, also here with us at Citi FM and Citi TV. Selam, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
So, gentlemen, I think we should start with Cecilia Dapaah because there's been a lot of developments today. That's Thursday, and there are 3 new angles. Now we know how much the OSP found when they went to do that search. We are told $590,000 US dollars, as well as 2.7 million Ghana cedis. The second angle that City Newsroom, for example, has is the court will decide fate over frozen bank accounts next week, Thursday. And also today we saw some new angles to the story about the amount of money that's in a bank accounts. The OSP denying that it's disclosed that, so we should ignore those stories that we're seeing around the amount on a bank account. So 3 key developments. Selam, let's start with you on the freezing part. OSP going to court to get her accounts frozen. The amount that has been seen, some more cash, a lot still, and all that.
Well, thanks, Vivian. I think the OSP is just doing his work. He has powers within the law to do what he's doing. His mandate really is to deal with or investigate matters around corruption or corruption and corruption-related matters or issues. So when the special prosecutor, upon reasonable grounds, sees that you are in possession of something or you've engaged in something that he's not clear about in terms of how you acquired that, he has every right under the law to probe. And so that is what is happening, especially in the circumstance where Cecilia Dapaah has said that there were inconsistencies between the narration she gave to the police and what was represented on the charge sheet, in the sense that it came out that what she actually told the police, or her statement to the police, suggested that the money that the girls took from her home, the $1 million and all of that, belonged to his brother, and some were contributions from her mother's funeral. So those were inconsistencies, and once those inconsistencies present themselves, they become fertile ground for anybody with mandate to want to pry further or investigate further to see what the truth is. And that really is also underscored by the Attorney General's, should I call it, advice or opinion on the matter to CID, because there were now 2 inconsistent issues. In fact, somebody had to establish what the truth was. So that was it. And the special prosecutor also was invited into this matter by the public. There's an online system they run where people can make complaints via that platform. And so he got into the matter. Now, one of the first things he would do, and he has several powers. He has, a range of powers he can use. He can search, he can do anything just as the police can. He can arrest you, he can do all of that. So immediately, he told the public that he was interested in the matter, or he was dealing with the matter. Days ago, we saw them visit her homes. Yeah. So from court documents we've seen today, it suggests that there were 3 residences, or 3 homes.
Chesano, Belenpe, and Cantonment.
Yes, yeah. So those 3 visited those 3 places, and they've come to say that they've made some discoveries. Indeed, after the search, their statement suggested that they found something significant that they could work with. So I don't know whether the 590,000 USD and the 2.7 million cedis or so will constitute the entirety of the something significant they talked about, or
during the search
at the home. There was an issue about the account details that hasn't been disclosed, and you must also know that the special prosecutor doesn't want to appear like he's the one giving information to the public. So if information comes out to the public that he didn't give out, he will quickly have to come and tell the public to disregard it, or he dissociates himself from it. But that in itself does not mean...
But when the issue about the amount they had found in the house after the arrest, it came out that they said there wasn't anything like that.
No, but their statement said that they found something significant. Okay. And if you are going to the house to search for something, and in this case, it's money we are talking about, and you come out to say that you found something significant, the reasonable inference to draw or to make is that you found some money. Okay. So though they did not mention a figure, they said they had found something significant, which was enough to work with. It was enough for everybody to work with that. So now they say they've not put out any figures in terms of their accounts. However, in their documents to the court, the processes to the court, they have made us know that they have frozen the accounts of the former minister at the Societe Generale Bank and the Prudential Bank also. Yeah. We do not know how much is in there. Media reports have speculated huge figures. I do not know the source of those, but it's interesting to see how things are coming. So now he has a number of powers. So what he's doing now, is actually based on Section 32 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, called the Act 959, where it says that where it's headlined or headed seizure of tainted property. Okay. He makes the case that given the circumstances surrounding the case and the fact that the lady in question is a public officer, etc. Public officer means that we know how much she earns, and we know 1 or 2 things about her which should be public. I don't know whether he's had access to her asset declaration documents yet. I'm not sure. I don't know. Means that we know what she earns, and if you know what you earn, and within this period you've made this amount of money, and now there are inconsistencies about the source of that money. When the talk about the money belonging to the brother came up, I also heard some reports that the brother's wife was now taking legal steps to have that money brought back to her. And so you realize that the amended charge sheet was amended again, which put some of the money now in her name. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So that's tainted property, he says. So the law allows him to seize tainted property. An authorized officer may seize property if the authorized officer has reasonable grounds to suspect that the property is tainted. And 1, it is necessary to exercise the power of seizure to prevent the concealment, loss, or destruction of the property. That the circumstances are so urgent that the immediate exercise of the power without authority of a warrant or court order. So you do not have time to go to court for a warrant. So the law gives the office of the special prosecutor the power to seize properties like that. It also goes ahead to talk about freezing, so they can freeze your bank account. So in terms of the freezing, he has power under Section 38 of the law to freeze property. So where the special prosecutor considers that freezing of property is necessary to facilitate an investigation or prosecution, the special prosecutor shall, in writing, direct the freezing of the property of a person or entity being investigated, or B, specified property held by a person or entity other than the person or entity being investigated or prosecuted. So the special prosecutor shall, within 14 days after the freezing of the property, applied to the court for a confirmation of the freezing. So this is what he has done. So this is the bank matter.
Okay.
He writes to the bank. He has to write to the bank, telling them about freezing the property, money's property, about the property. So that has been done. Okay. And within 14 days, the law says you must go to court for a confirmation of that freezing order. So that's what he's going to court to do. And in the other sense of the property, I think it's 7 days or so. I don't know when they did the freezing, etc. But he is within the law to do that. So what the law also says is that in those matters, you must make the application on notice. On notice means you must serve the other party. So I'm sure Cecilia but have been served by now. And so she also put herself together. She may file an affidavit in opposition that, no, you cannot continue to seize it because this doesn't belong to me, ABC. You attach your evidence or your affidavit evidence, whatever you have. The court will look at it, may decide to rule on it, or may decide to hear from the parties or the lawyers. Once the court hears on, the court makes a decision based on what you have submitted. So the court may either agree with the special prosecutor by confirming the freezing order or the seizure, or will say, no, you have not convinced me. You have no basis to continue to seize her property or to freeze her account. So that is where we are generally in the law, and that's what the special prosecutor is dealing with.
So next Thursday we'll see. We'll come to the details, what next Thursday will mean and all that. But let me bring in some ends on the three issues. One, the court now freezing the bank accounts, going to court to get it frozen further. That OSP denying the amount of cash that we are seeing that being reported in their accounts, and then of course the amount of money they found after $590,000 and then 2.7 million Ghana cedis.
Well, I think Salom has made, made the points quite clearly, and I mean, once I try processing the way this whole thing has rolled out, I get very disturbed,
Why so?
I get disturbed, how anybody will be keeping this kind of amount in their homes. Things don't add up for me, to be honest. Things don't add up for me. And all I say is, look, we just have to sit and see how this one unfolds. But if you ask me, I think Kissie Jabin and his team will need our prayers and our support. Because, see, we are charting a path in this country that we have not seen before. We have not seen before. And I stand to be corrected. And that's why I say that Kissie Jabin and his people, they will need our support and our prayers.
In terms of going out to really deal with corruption and all that, is that the path?
No, with respect to this particular issue.
Case. Okay.
Because, you see, it started like one of those social media jokes. And then we started seeing reality upon reality. Only that as a media community, we have not heard directly from Cecilia Dapa. Okay, so I'm normally cautious when I'm making pronouncements on this. Because the reason I'm saying is because if all we are hearing is what it is, then it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why anybody should keep this kind of amount in their homes. In addition to what was stolen, the OSP says that upon searching their, and then they say 3 homes, is that correct?
Yeah.
They didn't say 3 houses, 3 homes. What that suggests to me is that it is actively occupied by the same person at the same time. Because your home, not just a house that you own. Yeah. And upon an exhaustive search, they now come out with $500,000 and 2.7 million cedis, which is 2.7 million cedis is about $400,000. Okay, so between the two is another $1 million, all sitting in a house What kind of security do you have there?
Yeah.
And what is the money doing there as a public official? I mean, look, there are legitimate questions to be asked. And I think that I just thank God for the OSP, because people cast their doubts about, oh, Kisei Jabin, he can't do the work, he's a small boy, and all these things. Now we have hit the road and the man is doing the work, but he needs our support. That's what I'm saying, because this thing, we have to see the end of it so that as a country we can draw lessons from it, okay? Because trust me, today is Sisi Adapa, tomorrow it will be another name.
Yeah.
And we are in the media. We know for a fact that there are scores of politicians who may even have more money than Sisi Adapa has, only that they have not been caught. With this knowledge, what do we do as a country? And we don't have a problem if you legitimately own the money. But in the case where you are unable to establish how you got the money as a public official, then we have questions. Now, how we are able to structure and deal with this particular issue will be very instructive going forward as a country. Because we've seen governments come in, governments go out. People have gotten away with murder. But we are saying that let's go through this thing, let our laws of the Republic of Ghana work to the latter. Work properly, so that when we are done, we know that as a country, this is what we have resolved to do based on the findings. I think this is my position on it, because we still, every day, we hear new things.
Yeah.
Today alone, we had an information overload on this particular issue. And I don't even know how you managed it for your news production.
We have to ensure everything comes out and not leave anything out,
You know.
especially with pressure from the big boss.
So the law must just work.
Yeah.
As a democracy that we are all proud of, the law must, we just need to, shepherd the laws of the Republic of Ghana so that the woman is given a fair trial. We go through the whole process. The truth comes out. We establish what we have to establish. If somebody is at fault, there's punishment to be meted out. We do it. If not, we go our way.
Right. Now, what does this say, Selom, with the issue of the freezing of the accounts? Does it say anything in terms of the progress of the case, especially when it started with, like Samen is saying, people think, this thing, is one of those things, but the freezing is a significant move, isn't it?
Yes, the freezing is significant, which means that there is some amount of money in her account. Maybe if there was just some reasonable amount of money in her account, money she could earn reasonably. I'm not sure that would be an issue. Let's say 50,000 or 100,000 or even 500,000 or maybe 1 million. I'm not sure that that's in Citi, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would be a big deal because she's a person of age, a woman of caliber and timber. So having 1 million, 2 million in your account, Ghana cedis, I'm not sure would be too much to be worried about. But given the figures we have heard, I mean, these are loans government takes from other governments or bilaterals. In your account, that really is an issue. So if that is true, then it's a big deal, and that is significant. I'm really waiting to see what Cecilia Dapa and her lawyers will say in their affidavits in opposition, if they are minded to oppose the special prosecutors, application or motion for confirmation of the seizure and freezing, etc. They can decide not to oppose
we'll
it.
see that probably on Thursday if they want to.
If they want to, they will be in court. They may argue it. They can decide not to oppose it. The ones you don't want to oppose it means you have no issue with it. Maybe you admit it, it goes through it. I don't know what strategy they will take. Sometimes you just leave it and the assumption that you've admitted it, but without saying more. But maybe you have an explanation. You will add documents. That is the brother's money. Maybe how did the brother give you the money? Who was there? Do you have any evidence to suggest that is so? You attach all of that to it. hopefully, when we go to court, we will see or hear how the matter runs. So that is key. Like Samuel said, the special prosecutor, I think, should be encouraged. He should be prayed for, and he should be given a free hand to work. When you look at what is happening around us, and we'll come to the West African sub-region, a lot of young people, a lot of people are getting discouraged or frustrated. They are tired of the system, and even in Ghana. When you look at the number of people traveling out of the country for greener pastures because they've lost hope in our country, it is serious. I was talking to a colleague 2 or 3 days ago. He saw my status of a news item, and he was trying to find out about it. This was somebody who would always be in the, like, wanting to, he always knew the news. So I was wondering why he was asking questions, because normally he would know. And he said, no, he's traveled. He was not in town. I said, how? And I knew the wife was, like, they were trying to travel out, nest and things. So they are gone, all right? And he said, no, they are going to look for money to come and help Ghana.
Actually, everybody's leaving.
So the situation is bad. People are frustrated.
Yeah.
So when they see things like this and we sweep them under the carpet, we don't go to the end and ensure that the facts are established, whether indeed she's guilty or she's not, and the process is for everything. People get discouraged. And as young people, a country of a lot of young people, we need to be careful that the country doesn't reach that tipping point if we are not there yet. It's very, very, very important that we do not, we do not make people lose the little hope they have in the country. And the way we can do that is to bring back accountability, is to bring back, confidence in the system. And I think Kishe Jabin is doing just that. We need to support him. And I also hope that he won't do it to a point and then drop the ball. That would be very, discouraging too.
Okay, so we'll see how that goes. We will be keeping an eye on that, and we'll let you know as it develops. But we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to Niger and what that means to us in terms of what is happening there, the coup and matters arising. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Get ready to witness a remarkable fair to showcase the rich diversity, talent, innovation, and mastery of made in Ghana products and services with the This is Ghana Exhibition 2023. Citi TV and Citi FM will allow you to immerse yourself in a vibrant showcase of authentic Ghanaian products and services in the biggest trade fair and exhibition for local SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing industries, homegrown businesses, and indigenous corporate bodies Ghana has ever seen. We shall promote, support, and patronize various Ghanaian products, solutions, and services that are redefining the views on indigenous products and their packaging across all sectors. Join us at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly on the 26th and the 27th of August 2023 at 10 a.m. through till 5 p.m. each day. Call us now on 0205-973-973 for inquiries on how to participate. The This is Ghana exhibition is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM and proudly sponsored by MTN Momo and Nalo Solutions, making it happen.
Welcome back to what the papers are saying. My name is Vivian Kailoko. I'm here with Stella Madono as well as Samuel Atamensa. We'll move to our next topic to do with the coup in Niger and its impact on us as a country. Let me start with you, Samens, and your thoughts around that. Onions, the price of onions are going up. You don't cook, so you wouldn't know. But I mean, the onions prices are going up. Of course, the refugees, we are told, are trickling into Ghana already.
Well, we've marketed Ghana as a safe place, so definitely, even before the war, they were coming. So you should expect that. But it's just unfortunate that a thing like this is sweeping across the West African region. And particularly to people we consider neighbors. If something of this nature happens and within 2 weeks we start feeling the pinch, as you just spoke about with our onions, then the trouble is actually bigger than we first thought. You know, 2 weeks and you run out of onions. What else do we have to show for the Ghana that we've been talking about?
Gary?
If after 2 weeks we don't have onions, then by the 3rd week tomato will follow. Then after the 3rd week we go to the 4th week, okra will step in. By the next month we can't do soup in this country. So the matter spoil.
God forbid.
No, but seriously, Vivian, if in 2 weeks of disturbances in Niger, we don't have onions, then we are in trouble as a country. You mean we can't produce our own onions that we'll eat ourselves, not even what we export.
Turns out we can't.
So what happened to the planting for food and jobs? We were planting for food and jobs. And then after 2 weeks, we don't have onions. Do you know Citi?
Citi wa.
This PFJ is Citi wa. Charlie, the PFJ no wafa and kwakwa. You know when you are playing dummy. PFJ kwakwa. No. So it's sad. 2 weeks. And this thing, I'm not sure that in another month we'll see the end of it.
Yeah.
Because of the back and forth. Now we hear that there's a West African
Standby force.
standby force. And I am asking myself, standby for what exactly?
Invasion.
To
To restore democracy.
Well, maybe they know things we don't know. I mean, maybe, and I say maybe they know things we don't know. But if what we have seen in the last 30 years of our lives is anything to go by, it can only get worse if they do that. Iraq, we saw Iraq. Libya, the last of them. We saw Syria. We saw Afghanistan. I don't know whether there are magicians in the ECOMOG they are putting together, whether they have people with magicians who are also going to join. But if what we know is what it is, then this idea of using force might be stretching it too far.
But the diplomacy appears not to be working.
Well, that's why it's called diplomacy. It doesn't happen in 2 weeks. That's why it's called diplomacy. It does not happen in 2 weeks. But I have not seen any diplomacy that has caused lives to be lost before. If it's diplomacy the way we know. If we are applying the right principles, then, you know. But the thing is, it's Niger, it's Mali. You can go in today and use force, but promise me that you stay in that country forever. Do you have the resources to stay there forever? We know the answer. We don't. Is the West Africa zone very united like ever before? The answer is no. It's only a matter of time when there's a change in government in one of the states, there will be a new policy that will withdraw their troops from that place. You see, we have seen, and I'm saying this because I lived in Liberia, I lived in Sierra Leone. I lived in Sierra Leone just at the tail end of the war. I lived in Liberia just at the tail end of the war. And, you can see that at the end of the day, the rich people there will just take their families and leave the country and as we say, they'll be pissing inside because they'll be provoking people, they'll be creating stories in the world press, they'll be doing all sorts of things, just putting fire in the whole thing. But what we are saying is that let's take our time. The coup was plotted by human beings. Let's deal with the root issues. Because we've seen countries that have had coup d'etats. Rwanda is one of them. Today, haven't we accepted them? Because they are doing things that we want to see.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that taking a gun and going to Niger is to aggravate an already dangerous situation.
Okay.
In the first place, in this modern era, I have not seen any coup d'etat happen without support from another country. And that country, with their resources, they are not coming to tell you that, oh, we are the ones supporting. It is only when you touch them that you know the skill of the whole fight. So I think that the idea of let's put a force together, and the force people, when they go, they will run away. They will just run away. At the end of the day, we are going to kill more Nigerians. I'm telling you, a lot more are going to be killed in this. Because the guys there, they are not stupid though.
Yeah.
They are not stupid. The people are backing them, and that's why they get the boldness to do what they are doing.
Right.
But on the Ghana front, I'm thinking that
The onions.
it has exposed a certain weakness in our system, which we did not bargain for. That after 2 weeks, we are crying that we don't have onions. After 3 weeks, we will not have tomatoes. After 4 weeks,
You have okra.
we don't have okra. After 5 weeks,
No soup.
we don't have garden eggs. In Kwana say.
Hello.
Yeah. So yes. So I mean, it simply means that the reality of being in a global village, and this is just Niger. I mean, not in a serious or affluent country, not in a country that we depend on so much. This is just Niger. I mean, desert-stricken Niger, whose people we see around a lot of the time begging for money, etc. So that's Niger, and 2 weeks of not even war, a situation in the country is leading to shortage of onions in our country. And I understand when you go to the onion market now, there's nobody really there. Yeah. And the price of a bag of onion is skyrocketed because Niger has an issue. That should be cause for worry, and it should make us think about what to do. Planting for food and jobs, as Samen says, I mean, it's a total failure. Even in Ghana, when we had some situation, we did not have a lot of food around. I mean, the minister went to bring plantain from somewhere to come and sell at the ministry. That was his big idea to solve that problem.
Oh, joke.
You know, that was his big idea.
It's a joke,
pathetic.
man.
But he wants to be president. He wants to expand. He wants to expand that. So in the planning for food and jobs, we did not see the jobs really. The food too, when we are stretched or stressed a bit, we are not seeing the food. And that should be a serious matter we should think about. That is notwithstanding the amount of money we have sunk into that project, given that it was a flagship program. Yeah. A lot of money was sunk into that. And if after 2 weeks of a situation in Niger, we are feeling the pinch, then I think we need to get a bit more
onions
serious.
was not part of the project, under the project.
Oh, but we farm onion in Ghana. We do a lot of things in Ghana.
You know, the project, onions specifically may not have been part of it. But the idea was to push people into farming and to increase productivity across board. So the fact that if onion were not among means that in 2 weeks we should run out of onion as a country, not as a company. As a country, that's an indictment on whoever the leader was for the planting for food and jobs, and also to the government itself. You understand? And I still have not heard any instructive policy or reaction. I haven't heard.
There's not been
on
any.
how we should deal with an issue like this. And it's very sad.
So local capacity.
Take a break.
Local capacity we must work on. We always say it, but we never do it. I mean, we always say it. And the planning for food and jobs was one of the best opportunities ever to improve or build local capacity to produce some of these things. But I think we didn't deal with it well. About ECOWAS itself, readying itself with a standby force, I think they need to tread cautiously. I thought a comment from Tinubu was just made because he felt that making the comment will make the guys run away. I don't know whether he thought through it properly before he made, because you don't just talk like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't just talk like that. Or maybe it's an ego stroking endeavor. He himself is having issues with legitimacy in his country.
Yeah.
So maybe he just wanted to do something that will make people feel that he's in charge. You know, ECOWAS chair, I mean, it's a difficult thing. Do we have the money to even stay in the country if we are to invade? How are we going to do that? And are we ready for the consequences, the refugees, all those things? Are we ready for that? I spoke to Festus Abuaji, and I think he made quite some salient points in detailing how those things work. He thinks that it may not even happen because the language they've used is a bit different now. They are now talking about restoring democracy, not restoring the Bozom guy, Bazoum guy.
Bazoum.
These are two different things. Restoring the guy means something else, and also restoring democracy also means something else. Preparing the force, it may take a very long time, so it may not happen. Of course, Ayariga also thinks that you cannot talk about peace if there's no threat of war. So saying that we will invade or we will kick you out using the military should make you fear in a way so you come to the table and talk. I hope it works, but the military going into Niger is not the way to go. In the end, it is the ordinary people we think we are protecting that will suffer.
That will suffer. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at two issues quickly. One to do with the Bank of Ghana, the losses and new angles to that story, and also tricycle operators in Kumasi. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117. And on HD Plus, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD Plus boxes. Citi TV, it's your world. Get ready to witness a remarkable fair to showcase the rich diversity, talent, innovation, and mastery of made in Ghana products and services with the This Is Ghana Exhibition 2023. Citi TV and Citi FM will allow you to immerse yourself in a vibrant showcase of authentic Ghanaian products and services in the biggest trade fair and exhibition for local SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing industries, homegrown businesses, and indigenous corporate bodies Ghana has ever seen. We shall promote, support, and patronize various Ghanaian products, solutions, and services that are redefining the views on indigenous products and their packaging across all sectors. Join us at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly on the 26th and the 27th of August 2023 at 10 a.m. through till 5 p.m. each day. Call us now on 0205-973-973 for inquiries on how to participate. The This Is Ghana exhibition is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM and proudly sponsored by MTN Momo and Nalo Solutions, making it happen.
Welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Evan Kai Loco. Thank you much for staying with us. I'm here with Stella Madono as well as Samuel Atamens. I will move quickly to the Ashanti region because of some troubling developments over there to do with tricycle operators who are up in arms against authorities, the KMA, over being removed from where they currently operate, which is around the market area. Now, there were some clashes this week whilst the police tried to enforce that directive from the KMA. Some tricycles were impounded, and we're told today on Thursday a few were released. The MP for Asawasi has stepped in and called for restraint and all that. But Salam, let me start with you. Quite disturbing, the clash we saw in the authorities trying to enforce the directive.
That's unfortunate. it's unfortunate that the tricycle operators would face off with the authorities. It's bad and it should not be encouraged. They need to be dealt with. But it throws up a number of things. Failed policy in the transport sector, failed policy in terms of job creation or employment, failed policy even generally in terms of economic growth, failed leadership, lack of candor. We see a problem, we don't want to solve it, we bury our heads in the sand and think that the problem doesn't exist. So this thing about tricycles, etc., started very small. Started very, very small. We could have dealt with it there because it is not legal. Yeah. So we know the law has always been there. Yeah. We could have dealt with it there. We did not. We left it to grow. Now a lot of young people have gone into it.
I've seen the numbers.
Taking that from them, it's illegal, but taking it from them means you are taking their livelihoods away from them. And people will fight and even kill to have their livelihoods back. And so the question now we must ask ourselves is, do we continue to enforce this law against the people when that is the only means they have to feed and take care of themselves? It's a dilemma. The law must work, yes. But as it stands now, does it remain a law we want to keep on the books? What happens to all this? What is the alternative? Of course, I don't think that because there's no alternative, people should continue breaking the law. But what has been our contribution to this problem? We did not solve it. We have no alternatives. We have no ideas. We created this problem, but we do not have the elevated thinking to solve it. We are solving it with the same thinking we created a problem. It started before us, just before we started. So now regulation. How do we even regulate it? Can we have a situation where we let all of them park somewhere and people walk to the city center? What is the solution? Nobody's saying anything. The KMA is just saying they are enforcing bylaws.
They've been given a place to stay, which is quite, we're told, is quite a distance from the market area.
And you see, there's demand for it. That's why I talked about field policy in the transportation sector. There's demand for it. If the people do not use that, what would they use? A lot of things. Yes, it is illegal, but the people are doing it. Is it time to reconsider the law? Is it time to modify it? Is it time to introduce some other things that will discourage the use, but will not be this brutal? I think these are things we generally have to think around. The issue about the Aboboya, I'm not sure they are part of it. Those ones which cut the goods. In the absence of those, how do people get their goods into the market? We will have to think around all of this. We've not thought about it. We've just gone to say they shouldn't work again. We've gone to impound them. It doesn't work like that. Okay. It is a very delicate matter, but illegal. We must deal with and deal with properly. Okay,
so Mens, any suggestions on how to deal with this?
Well, it's okay if they don't want them to come into the city center. I mean, the world over, these things do happen. A few years, or now I can say a few years ago, when in England, when Ken Livingstone was mayor of London, he woke up one day and said, no, you shouldn't drive through central London. You just should not. If you have to drive through central London, we will charge you money to just drive through. So find an alternative. People insulted him to the extent that he lost the mayorship thing. But guess what? They adopted the idea, worked with it, and they were able to rid central London of the huge traffic that we used to see. But having said that, it's a city center we are talking about. This is not some forest somewhere, okay? And it means that a lot of activities would take place there. If a lot of activities would take place there, then it requires connectivity of some sort. Mm-hmm. Now, in the absence of any, useful means of moving from one place to another within that space that we are talking about, banning them, which I think we should ban, but the approach we are using is where I depart from. It has to be a longer term planning and execution. Mm-hmm. But if we want to find 1 week and just instruct and force them out, I am not so sure whether we'll succeed with this. I'm not so sure.
So you want it in bits?
I think that incrementally it has to come with education, one. it has to come with provision of alternatives, and alternatives for the user, and the user of the routes, and then the alternatives for the operator, the service providers. Because while you take them out of this, where else should they go? And so to have a wider plan so that we can roll out over a period of time is the way to go. You know what the boys are doing? They go on the streets and vandalize road furniture, you know, which is a very bad thing to do. But I'm not so sure we even have the resources to manage what we have called for ourselves. No. Yes, if this is how we want to rid the city of traffic, so be it. But I'm not so sure whether the approach is the best way. Okay. I'm not so sure.
Right. We have 5 minutes left. We have to quickly do the Bank of Ghana. Very interesting developments this week. The minority called on the governor and his 2 deputies to step down. The bank itself has come out with a statement on what you use some of the money for, aside the DDEP, putting up a new head office, and the reason why it wants to move to that place. It's saying that the old one cannot withstand an earthquake, among other things. That has sparked a lot of discussions around that. But let me take your thoughts on that. I mean, moving this to a more proper place, you know, in case there's an earthquake.
I mean, look. the world over. I don't know which country, including the United States of America, that would decide that I'm going to build a new central bank office at a cost of 250 million. United Kingdom, it won't happen. They are using the money to build hospitals. Yeah. Okay. And the reason is too childish for me. That the place is an earthquake. Why? The Bank of Ghana, no, you were employed or you built it yourself. You came to find a thing there. If there's any legitimate reason for us to look for another place to build a facility, in a country like Ghana in the year 2023, you don't talk about $250 million to build an office as if when you die, you carry the office away. It's the widest form of insensitivity. And they are bold to even defend it. $250 million. What, are there hospital beds inside the office? What is this? Look, Vivian, we are talking about $250 million, not cedis. Yeah, huge. Just to build office so that Bank of Ghana will move and go and stay inside. Whatever Parliament can do to stop this thing, they should do it. Anything that Parliament can do to stop this 200 is insensitive. It's barbaric to even think about it. That we need money. Agenda 111. A lot of the projects have stalled because, you know, Bank of Ghana is not somebody's enterprise. Oh, it is for us. You understand? The money is money for Ghana. You understand? What it means is that if you are taking $250 million to go and build an office for Bank of Ghana, and I'm not saying you don't need an office. I'm only saying that you do not need an office that will cost $250 million. I'm not an architect. I don't do anything building, but the Institute of Architects and the building people should tell us whether it would take 200. Why? They will build roads and skyscrapers and what? 250 million, for God's sake. People, parliamentarians, stop this thing before it becomes a reality. Not in our lifetime.
So you have a minute to wrap up.
Well, I think I think the BOG, of course, the interest in the activities of the BOG is heightened, and I think that is good. Transparency, that's great. I think what this has done is kind of strip them of that invisibility aura that they have, and now we are seeing, you know, beyond the veil to see really what they do with the monies they have. Some of the expenses, of course, the DDEP, etc., we can talk about that another time. But some of the operational expenses they have listed, or I mean, they do not make sense. Vehicle maintenance expenses, 131.6 million in Ghana today. And the justification is that fuel cost accounted for about 90% of this. Forgetting that in the same document, they talked about foreign and domestic travel expenses, 97.4 million in Ghana.
Wow.
97.4 million in Ghana. And they say that the supervision staff travel to visit every single regulated institution and their branches spread all over the country. So they travel, the cars they use and the fuel they use, which they are telling us is part of the vehicle maintenance and things. Is it double calculation? Because when the car supervisors move, they move with fuel and they move with car. So you have accounted for that in the 131.6 million already.
Yeah.
So what happens to that one? Yeah. Foreign travels, where are you going? Yeah. 97.4 million.
Conference.
It's serious. And what of course, I don't want to be pedestrian, but with all of these, what are the things they're supposed to be doing? Inflation targeting, managing the exchange rate and all of that. There are other factors which affect all of those. But we need to see more from them. The Bank of Ghana has been left for a long time to do what it pleases. Now, the public scrutiny is good. It should make them sit up. For the NDC's, call for the resignation of the, well, it's in their right to do so. Occupying the place, well, it's in their right to do so. But whether they will be made to occupy the place or not is another matter. But I think what they will want to do as a political party will be to, of course, they will go there just to create a scene. Because that side of town is already congested. They will go there and say, what is happening here? What is happening here? Media will be here. They say the governor should go. Why? They say Ghana money, 60 billion. It's all over the place.
I think the governor should go. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a politics. They just want to keep pressure.
No, I get it. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think they should put pressure on the institution called Bank of Ghana to do the right things. Because today is Governor Addison, tomorrow it will be somebody else. Okay? If we don't push them to the limit where they know that they are accountable to the public, they are accountable to Parliament, Addison can go today.
The same thing.
Another person will come.
Is the man going? It's not part of, won't it be part of accountability? You know, if you don't do it well, you go. And beyond going, you will be made to face
but the point is that you can't wish him away. This is what the point I'm making. You can't just wish him away. Okay, because you see, the fact that Bank of Ghana as an institution has responded to everything to the extent of justifying means that it's not just a matter of the governor. It means that the entire board. It means that the entire board is part of it.
And on the board, they spent
8,000 per person.
8.6 million.
No, I'm talking about the process, the decision-making process.
Yes. The board, everybody part of it.
Everybody is part of it. So, but I'm just saying that let it be done in a manner that let this board go and another board come in. They will know that over here
you can't do this.
You can't do this. That's all I'm saying.
Systemic, yeah.
All right, guys, we gotta go. Thank you very much, Samwata Mensah and Salam Adonu, and thank you too for joining us. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. See you again next week. Goodbye.